Hello. Welcome to Happy Hour with... Oh, I'm Ruth.
She's Ruth. She's always Ruth, and she always...
No, when I meet strange people out there and I say weird things, I say, oh yeah, nice to meet you. My name is Roxy Snowpack.
Awesome.
And I give them your phone number.
Welcome to Happy Hour with Ruth and Roxy. Today we are drinking the last of a bottle we opened last night from Crown and Thieves called the Dimber Damber.
It's very good.
And they have just the coolest, we've talked about them before, they have the coolest labels and the coolest names and the coolest stories. But this is a blend of Merlot, Cab Sauv, and Cab Franc. And when we're done it, which is going to be soon.
Because I took a little while to get here.
Yeah, she did. I had to get ahead of her. We'll start on the Cab Franc.
Yes.
Anyway,
yes, we will.
It's feeling like red wine weather.
It is. It sure is.
It's cold. I mean, it's not cold, but it feels cold.
It's soggy.
It's really soggy.
Yeah, and actually some mornings have felt almost like a Chinook is coming in. Like some mornings, and Paul and I walk quite early, well, 6-ish now.
That's quite early.
Maybe. But some mornings you walk out and it's like, holy, like halfway through the walk I'm taking off my cap, right?
Yeah.
But yes.
Yeah.
Okay, what do we got today? We've been really busy, and we actually really don't have a schedule, but we always have things to say.
We always have things to say. Let's talk a little bit about Christmas prep, because
yes,
by the time you see this, it'll be 2 days after Christmas. But it's still worth talking about. And we posted a blog post today about...
Actually, it's this today, not that today when they see this. But also, I haven't posted it yet.
Okay, well,
it will be tomorrow.
You will see it. You'll see. Oh, guess what I learned?
Oh, you know what? Yeah, you know how you do that? Yeah. Well, now it's not doing it.
Oh, shit. Anyway,
I forget who I was.
Never mind us. We just learned something.
We're supposed to show thumbs, but never mind.
We get these random things on our screen, which is not live. It's not what you see.
We think we're being secretly watched.
Who's thumbs upping us here? Why are we?
It's a certain thing, right? You do. Now I'm going to do this. I'm gonna
see what happens. Exactly. Can you give us sparkles?
Yes,
sparkles.
Oh, I would like sparkles.
No, sparkles would be great. No, we're not.
Anyway,
we're
only on our first glass of wine.
We got a blog post coming out shortly. You'll have it out by the time you're seeing this. But about Christmas Overwhelm, because at this time of year, it's epidemic. Yeah. And I had Christmas Overwhelm before the Christmas season even started, so I was kind of behind the 8 ball. It took me a little while. You'll see that we have decorated our house, which is that was not a certainty this year.
But it's really, especially if you're not hosting the things, right?
Yeah.
But it is one of those where it's a lot to do, and then you're really happy. Like there's nothing like coming down and having a cup of coffee, and it's a day like today, which is gray, and the lights are on. It's really beautiful, but the other side, then you got to take it all down.
You got to take it down.
Yes.
Ours is easy because that's a pre-lit tree, and I put almost no decorations on it. Like, I had all these boxes of decorations. Some got lost in the move, as it happens.
But also, like, the decorations, and you've got a puppy in your house.
We have a puppy, and I mean, every time I say this, I think I'm jinxing it, but he hasn't, there's some little, like, fuzzy balls and stuff on the tree skirt, and he's nosed around at those because that would be his jam to play with, but he hasn't wrecked anything.
That's awesome. Wow, that's really
I saw him lick at the lights once, and I'm like, nah, gave him the stink eye, and he backed right off.
Yeah, that's good. He's a good boy. He listens.
Yeah, so when I go into the bedroom, though, he comes with me usually. Like if I, go to get something or take a shower or whatever, he follows me, and then he goes into our closet, takes my... This time I was in there long enough to get this necklace. That's all I wanted to do. So I walk in, get the necklace, put it on, and in that time, he's gone into the closet. He's taken a boot, jumped up on the bed, dropped it on Ray's pillow, gone back for another shoe, come back, dropped it on my pillow, gone back for a sock. By this time, Luna's in the room too, and they're playing tug-of-war with the sock.
But he's giving you gifts.
It's like 30 seconds.
He's giving you gifts, man. Let's before we go into it, let's talk about necklaces.
Let's talk about necklaces. So you guys know that, of course, where this one came from. She made it.
Well, and I was actually inspired by my sister, who saw a mutual friend of ours that had something similar. And so she said to me, if I send you charms, will you make me one? So I made her one, and then I had extra charms, and I was like, Roxanne likes tarot, right? And
yes.
But it's, and actually, like, when you first make it, you wonder, is this going to work? But it looks really good.
It works. It looks great.
Yeah.
And it's fun. And I love that this one's like right at the bottom. That's the central one, and I can't see anything from here, so I can't talk about what cards they are. But you picked the cards deliberately.
I did pick the cards. Yeah.
So
no, I did pick the cards. It is, and my bubble necklace from my friend in Turkey. I always put this on and feel happy.
Which they're glass.
Yeah, they are glass. I'm telling you, these are fragile. Like if I take them when I'm traveling, I have to wear them there, and I have to wear them home if I'm on the plane, right?
Oh,
now,
yeah.
And what happens at airports is everybody talks to you about the necklace then.
Right.
But they're like, I've broken a few, and then I wrote to the artist who did them, and I said, I'm really sorry, I'm happy to pay because I broke them, right? And he sent me a bunch for free, and then I sent him a box of Canadian goods to Turkey, except I didn't know that you can't send food to Turkey, and the Turkish, and it was just like chocolate bars, Canadian chocolate bars, and tea and Canadian, and I got him like Tim Hortons coffee, right? The tip, it was a Canadian, and so they sent it back, right? Which is really heartbreaking.
That's so sad.
And so I was going to send him another one, and he's like, you know what? Just that you did that was good enough. That's too much money. He's very sweet. I'm going to post. Really we'll post a link to him because if you're ever looking for something, and he has other ones that don't have this many bubbles on them. But he is a really lovely human being.
Post link.
It's okay. I'm writing it down too.
Good.
Because we haven't been as organized.
We have to write everything.
But it does go a bit to Christmas overwhelm because for me a lot of the presents I send are to other places, right? So it's not as challenging. But because you have to get ahead of it.
Postal service.
That's true, right?
And you're in. That's town, true, actually. In the country.
I'm trying to. Well, so my little Mail and Maeve that's one of my oldest and closest friends, his daughter and his partner's daughter. I sent that from Amazon, and they wrap it for me, which is really good.
Oh.
But I have my fairy goddaughter's son. He's going to get his late because I have to post his, right? Yeah, so I mean it's one of those, and then for my sister and everybody on the island. Because of the postal thing, when we were going into Vancouver to see a client, I went down to Harbour Air, and they will ship a package over there for you, and you just pick it up there.
Oh,
which I had no idea.
Yeah,
but that was a good way to get it to the island, right? Kind of stuff.
Exactly.
But wow. You guys, it's like 3 daughters. I keep getting the grandkids wrong because there's one on the way. So it's 3.5 grandkids.
Yeah, 3.5.
Right? And then their partners, right?
Yeah.
It's like plus then you have your parents and Ray's parents and
my
it
nieces,
becomes
yeah.
And even for Paul's family, because of all of this is so what we did was he was going to send money in a card anyway. So what we did was transfer the money to his sister, and then she put it in a card for us.
Okay.
And his parents, I forget what we did for them, but I think it was just a courier delivery as opposed to but even couriers are running late now, right?
Yeah.
I think Pure Later's not taking any more right now.
I'm sure not, yeah.
So be kind to them. Oh, well, it's too late now. But
well, yeah, that's right.
But yeah.
We don't exchange gifts with our Saskatchewan family, so, we just talk to each other at the time. But yeah, the family that we physically get together with here, we do stuff. And I have something in the oven right now. That's for us to eat later. But I have 3 things that I make every year. Pepper nuts, which are just little crunchy German spice cookies. Shortbread, like a whipped shortbread, which is easy, and butter tarts. And I don't make my own crust. I know you do. I don't. I'm over that. And the crusts are not great.
But they're not terrible.
They're not terrible. So anyway, my kids don't care.
Also, they're butter tarts. Like honestly, it doesn't matter. You could give me butter tarts in an old shoe, and it'd be like I'm in.
You could bake it in a custard thing, and I would just eat that stuff plain. It's so good. So I've got the dough made up, sitting out in my second fridge, which is the deck. Yeah. When it's cold out, I'll roll them out and cut and bake them tomorrow. And I haven't started the shortbread and the butter tart mixture. I make up a whole bunch, and then it can just sit in the fridge for a while. That's
just it. But that's why I was a little bit late. So I just recently found this recipe for Ontario fruit bread, which I will put a link.
Oh, the smell of it, you guys.
And it's really good.
There's a loaf cooling on my counter right now.
And it is really good. But this is only the second time I've made it. So Ray and Roxanne are again my guinea pigs to make sure.
We accept happily.
And then I'm going to make. Because Paul really likes them, I'm going to make lemon meringue tarts, and I'll do it. His brother's coming tomorrow, and then I'll have it for Festivus, which we'll talk about in a second too. But his brother loves butter tarts, so I'm going to make butter tarts too. But it's one of those, honestly, it's like none of these are really complicated recipes or anything, right? But by the time you figure out that you've got all the ingredients and you do all the things and you pace them out so that you're not like, oh God, I've already made this and this is in the oven and now I'm missing a piece of it. Like, you have to be really organized even for a couple.
And the socializing adds another layer too. So we had friends over for brunch last weekend, I guess, and we were we did like 2 brunches 2 weekends in a row, and I made waffles the first time, and the second time my husband said, you know what, you made waffles, why don't you make pancakes this time? Oh, sure, no problem. Get out my recipe, and I start without checking my inventory. And because I had just made waffles, I'm like, I'm pretty sure. I knew I was close to being out of some stuff. I went, it's probably fine. But I didn't count on the multiplying the recipe as I was going to do. Because honestly, who makes 5 pancakes at a time?
Right.
So anyway, so I made a big recipe. And I'm like, I'm out of baking powder. Substitution for baking powder. Well, we forgot to buy buttermilk. Substitution for buttermilk.
Vinegar.
Yeah, that worked. But also, we don't drink milk. So we have no dairy milk in us. We have like soy milk and stuff. But we had some canned milk, so dilute that with water and that's fine. And they're like, these pancakes are so great.
See? Actually, we ate them for dinner that night, didn't we?
They were pretty dried out by then, but I just left them. Yeah, that was that same night, but I left them in the oven. Right. Not great.
But it is like, because we're having Festivus on Christmas Eve at our house. Thank you. And that's just because, we don't celebrate Christmas in the religious sense of Christmas, right? So Festivus would be fun, but we're doing it, and already, like, I'm thinking, and I'm being really good because everybody that's coming is really good, and they bring an appy and that kind of thing. So I'm trying to scale back, but even in scaling back, like, it's like I'm going to make this mango sushi, right? Well, for mango sushi, I have to check, do I have almond butter? Do I have this? You know what I mean? It's all the little things, but it's really good and it's quite healthy because I'm trying very hard not to just to feed people like things with cream cheese.
The things they want.
Yes, yeah. but it is one of those where it's like I had to sort of organize, and then some things I get groceries delivered, but some things you have to go to the grocery store because it's a very it's like if I'm going to make fried mango salad, right? It has to be papaya. Sorry. Mango sushi. Green papaya, yes. But fried green papaya, you do pay attention. But it has to be, the papaya has to be really, really unripe.
Okay.
Right? And so you can't just order a papaya, and you can't ask the poor person getting your groceries, right, to understand what that means, right? There's stuff you have to do. And then you make the special stuff, right? Because it's a chance to do that.
Yeah.
And honestly, sometimes it's like, why the hell did I think this, after I've done it, why was this a good idea?
By the time I've done it, I'm usually happy that I've done it. But in the leading up to it, I'm like, this is terrible. Oh, what was I? Like I get mad at myself. And then when it's done, I'm so happy that I did it. That's usually fair. The way it works. I'm usually
the opposite. It's like, woohoo, this is therapy, and I love doing this. I do it, and then I do it, and it's like, that's a lot of work. And then I always make people tell me, on a 1 to 10 scale, how good was it compared to, and then I say, on a 1 to 10 scale, it was this hard. So if it's an easy scale and everybody loves it, that one goes in, win. Right?
That's a win.
And then if it's really hard and they're like, it was a 6. It's like, why would I do it? Like, I won't do it again, because what's the point, right?
What's the point? That's too much work,
No, but it is interesting.
And for me, unfortunately, my husband is around during that phase when I'm like, so I'm all grumbly, and he's like, don't do it. It's your... You
should phone me and grumble.
I should phone you and grumble.
Because I will talk her through that part.
Yes, you do.
Like,
you're
it's
good
good
at that.
Therapy, and it's all of this.
And you know that it's just my process. Like I want to do it. Yeah. I do want to do it.
It's the same as me when, like, 10 minutes before people are coming over, I'm like, what the hell? Why? Right? And so what Rox does is pours a little glass of wine, and it's like, you're fine. Right? You know what I mean? You do it, but guys want to help. Right? They don't quite understand that it's just venting. They want to fix it. Yeah. And it's kind of like so I think we've said this before, and I've had to say this a few times very clearly to Paul, because he wants to fix it. Is I am just venting. You need to hear that.
Yes.
Right? And you have to be and now sometimes when he's talking about stuff, I will have to say to him, because I'm a fixer.
Right.
Right? Is I will have to say, okay, what's the purpose of this conversation? Do you want to vent?
Yeah.
Do you want me to give you ideas, right? Like suggestions, or do you want me encourage you to figure it out yourself, right? Because sometimes you don't know.
Yeah,
right?
It's true. It's true. I tend to imagine that everybody just needs venting and listen and smile and nod, and I'm not very helpful.
But you are, because I think the flip side to that is, if, like for me, if it was more than venting, I would say, Roxanne, what would you do? Or
Yeah.
what do you think I should do? You know what I mean? Like you give the other person permission to put that forward, because sometimes you vent, and somebody who wants to be really helpful, it's like, well, have you thought about this? And it's like, no, I've been working on this for 6 months, I never thought about that. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you have to kind of find that balance, and I always like, it's like, if I have a hard time asking for help, but if it's something like, hey, what do you think I need to do here, because I'm struggling, right?
Yeah.
Is always, because that gives people the opening.
Yeah, that's true, and that's a good way to do it.
Oh, look at you! You've got lists.
Well, I've got lists, but here's a little Christmas trivia for you. It's not Christmas trivia, but it's related to the baking. We're talking about baking. You'll have to go with me on this one. It's not related to anything.
It's okay.
Okay, when you stir, do you stir clockwise or counterclockwise?
Clockwise. You
stir clockwise? I only stir counterclockwise.
Are you left-handed?
No, I'm right-handed.
I might be ambidextrous, or whatever you say.
So I looked this up because I don't know why this happened.
But I think I stir it this way.
You do?
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that's what
I mean. Pay attention.
Pay attention. So watch for it, because I don't know what triggered this. I was reading something or saw something somewhere, and typically right-handed people stir counterclockwise, and left-handed people stir.
But you know what? My mom was left-handed.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, and here's my theory about that: is that the motion. It's easier if you're just looking at your hands. It's easier to bring your hand towards your body than it is to put it out. This takes a different kind of.
Yeah.
It's just easier to do this. But I mean, obviously, when you're stirring, you get tired, and so you go the other way for a while. So we can all do both.
Yeah.
But same thing, like if you're sweeping, that might be related too. Like, do you sweep left-handed or right-handed? Or
you're assuming I sweep.
Shovel snow, rake leaves.
You're assuming all of that, man. Like, nice try. I stir.
Play hockey. How do you hold your hockey stick?
But you know what? So I water ski, because I don't snow ski or snowboard or anything, but I water ski, and it's called Goofy Foot, right? And I water skied the way a left-handed person would water ski.
Oh, that's interesting.
And I think it's because, my mom was left-handed, and I'm trying to think, like, because she could, like, early on, I think she water skied, I'm not sure. But because she was left-handed, I often wonder if and because my parents are gone, I can't ask them, if I was leaning left-handed, because I'm old enough that back in the day, they didn't want you to be left-handed, right?
That's right. That's so interesting. Yeah. Oh, I'm curious about that now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, being left-handed was a huge thing.
Oh God.
And
but you know what? It still is.
Oh, it's left-handed people have a lower life expectancy.
Really?
Than right-handed people. Yeah. It's not by much, but it is there.
Right. Well,
and it's just because they have to adapt to a lot more stuff than the rest of us do. I gotta check my bread.
Right. But I do think that's interesting, because the other part goes back to, nature versus nurture, sort of, right? Because I would see my mom working around the kitchen, and so I would pick up those things, right? So that's really interesting to me. I'm gonna have to find out more about that.
I'm gonna give this.
She's cooking. I wish I could turn it around and see how methodical and organized she is, because that's not how I cook.
Oh, I got everything cleaned up before you came here, because
that's how it goes.
I don't know. My mind, the older I get, the more easily cluttered my brain is, and I just I have to clean everything up before I start cooking something, because if there's anything left over from anything else, my brain just goes, whoa, I can't focus.
It's the what's it called? Mise en place. That's how I think it. It's where you get everything sorted, ready for you to cook. But that's all that's there. There is nothing to distract you from the thing.
Oh, that's what I want. Yeah. I don't even. We were talking about this yesterday. I don't have music playing. Once I get to where the measuring is done, the thinking part is done. Like if I was making like straight bread where you knead it with your hands, that at that point, I can have
Right.
a podcast or some music
Right.
or something going in the background. But that's when I get almost meditative
Right.
about it, right? Like, I like silence.
Yeah.
I want silence.
So do you get
and-
silence in your brain? We have to go back to this because I want to talk about
Okay,
the
okay.
thing. But like so for a while ago back on the internet, the people were talking about, what do you hear when you're not taking in information or putting it out? What do you hear? Now, I have a committee in my head, and they've gotten better, and I have to say, since tapping and a whole bunch of things, right, have helped me, because I have like a monkey brain. But I hear, it's going to sound terrible, I hear voices, right? Like I hear words
so
in my
do I.
brain, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you hear, because some people hear music,
No, I don't
right?
hear music.
And some people don't, like they can stop their brain and it's silent.
Yeah, I don't do
and
that.
my brain, it's never silent
I can't
in
do
my
that.
head.
When I was doing a lot of yoga, and I can't do it at home the same way. I have to go out to a studio somewhere to do it, so that somebody's forcing
Right.
me to sit
Right, so
quietly.
you have to-
I would have this image in my head when we're sitting down afterwards, and my image was always like, it's dark, I'm seeing stars, lights and colors and all that, and I'm trying to focus down, like really stop.
Yep.
And I would imagine a group of women or people sitting together in a circle, and my brain is the one that's always getting up and running away. And then sit back, come on, sit down and get back into it.
Yeah.
So that's what I see. That's what I
Right.
hear when I'm trying to be quiet.
So it's
like
more,
there's-
is it more visualization than
pretty
words?
visual, yeah,
Right? See,
yeah.
mine is words. Right?
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
But it's interesting, right?
Yeah. I've got, there's a mean person inside there. who
Or you have
tells
a
me
committee.
things.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or at least you have one member of the
Got
committee.
at least one loudmouth in there that just doesn't shut up.
But you know what? It's
She's
really
mean.
funny because it was partly tapping and partly therapy and stuff, and partly doing a lot of reading. But I once I realized that the committee in your brain, because I have a really mean one, and I have other ones who think they know everything, and then I have the nice one that encourages me. But you know what? When you realize they're all just trying to protect you, right? And you say, I appreciate you're trying to protect me, but why don't you get a glass of wine and go sit over there? And actually it was, and tapping really helped, but it was a therapist who said to me, okay, so here's the deal. You have this reality that you've created a thing about. So what you have to do then, what would you say to a friend that was being mean to you? And my screw you isn't right, but it's like, what if the friend you felt they were being mean, but really they were trying to help you? It'd be like, hey, I've got this. Right? And she said, why aren't you saying that to the committee then? Right? And it's really interesting because for me it helped. Right? Roxanne's taking pictures of food that we're going to post on the blog. But I do have to say, so there was one day over at my house, and there was Roxanne was there and our friend Della was there, and I don't know what I was making, but it needed measurement stuff, whatever it was, right? And they're talking to me, and we're drinking wine and having fun, and all of a sudden I look, and it's like, crap, did I put in 2 cups of flour, or the 3 that it needs? And I had to, thank God the flour was still separate, because I had to go back and do it again, because it was just like, and I do that sometimes if it's a really good podcast, or I've got something on my mind, all of a sudden it's like, it's like when you're driving and you go into that sort of auto thing. And so,
suddenly you're somewhere and you're like, I don't know how I got here.
So one of the things, and I think it might
scary.
be you that told me, is especially baking, because my mom didn't really bake, right? So I got
Okay.
to baking later in life.
Okay.
But I think it was you that said that when you're done with something, you've done the thing. You put the flour over
yep,
it, right?
I
You
do
know what I
that.
mean? You put
Yep.
it so you know it's that you've
Yep.
done it. Especially things like, baking powder or salt that you can't tell if it's in flour,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But that was for me. I do that now, and that's really helpful.
That helps, man. I did that just yesterday, because there's like 5-6 spices that go into this mix, and I put them. It's like cinnamon, cloves, allspice, so that I can actually see it
Right.
in there. But then I put the spice things away.
Yep.
I'm done.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I have to do that, or I can't. That's the other thing that happened with the pancakes. I'm cooking them, like I do put the first ones down. I'm like, that's awful runny. Yeah, they're actually not turning. Yeah, that's because I did the math wrong. I did the math right, but I just didn't do the scooping
Right.
So yeah, added another half cup of flour and it was all good.
Right, but that's just it. Like it's easy if you've got things on, like especially when people. For me, it's like I like to prep early in the morning of or the day before, right? So it's all kind of done and just has to go in. But if you're cooking just before or while people are there, it's way harder, and you have to do those things.
I can't
right?
do it.
It's easy to be, but yeah, I'm not good at that at all.
My one son-in-law, both my son-in-laws like to play around in the kitchen a lot, and my one he's a pro.
Yeah.
And I love to watch him. Like, he comes over here and he does his thing.
He's magic.
He's magical. He comes over and he, he'll be like, "Oh, do you want me to make supper?" I'm like, "Sure. I was just going to do this." And he'll be doing the same thing that I'm doing, but it's got a sprig of parsley. It's like arranged on the plate perfectly. But I sit here and I talk to him. Because I'm watching him and I'm talking to him, and he can carry on a conversation.
It's crazy,
How?
right?
How can he do that?
So we've never had somebody who was a professional chef in our world, but I've done it where you do these tasting menus, and if it's a really small at restaurants, where you get to sit at the bar while the chef is cooking, and like some chefs, and I mean usually you got maybe 4 or 6 people at that bar in front of them, and then you have a couple, like 3 or 4 tables behind you, and it's one of those where while he's doing it all, the chef is talking to you, and it's like, how are you possibly doing this? And they're being funny and charming, and they're explaining things, and it's just like, is that going to boil over? And they've got it at the perfect time. Like it's like how that comes together. It's art.
It's art.
It's live art, right?
And they've done it so, like, to be fair to us, I would say, to be fair, they have done it so many times. Yeah. They've got the rhythm down.
Right.
Because I know that about Levi. He doesn't use recipes. He doesn't really measure things. He knows. He's got the feel of everything.
He knows
down.
the things.
He knows the things. He's got a good
and he knows
intuition.
the ratios. Right of what
he knows
what
the principles behind
that's
the
just
stuff,
it, right?
And that recipe book, salt, fat, acid,
that's
heat.
good.
That's what it's about.
Yeah.
It's about, if you know these principles, then you will be less reliant on the rote step-by-step stuff.
Right, but
because once you know why, and I've always been that way. I have a real tough time if I'm told to do something, but I don't know why I'm supposed to do a thing. I have a compliance issue there. And but if I know why, and if I can buy into it and say, oh, I totally get it. This seatbelt will save my life. You betcha. I'll wear the seatbelt.
No, but that's just it.
Don't tell me to do it just because somebody feels like they want to tell me to do something.
No, but and that's just it. But when you see somebody, and you're really good, like with your sourdough, you look at maybe we were drinking wine and she didn't get to it, but she's like, oh, it's okay though. The rise is okay. See, I would be like, I don't know because I'm a really good recipe follower, and once I've done it a few times, I can add little things, but I don't have the science behind it, and I'm sad I don't. Like, had they had that kind of, if home economics when I was in school was the science of it, instead of, hey, let's sew something, it's like, hey, why don't we learn how to make something, like to dye something, in fact, with coffee, right? Because in some of the countries I visited, like, you can buy these beautiful scarves, and they're like, it's all natural, and it's like, oh, this brown scarf is made with coffee, and it's like, what? But or the science behind, like, the salt, fat, heat one. And there's another one. Michelle and Stephen, our friends in New Hampshire, gave me a book one time, and I can't remember the name of it, but it's like like the encyclopedia of cooking, and it tells you about citrus and the things, and it explains all why you add something. Because sometimes I'll be like, this dish it's missing something, and I go online and I look up, what do I add if it's missing, whatever. And there's all these things that you might never think about, right? Like it's like, add some lemon juice to, like, I don't know, I'm just making this up so Italian people don't get mad at me, but to spaghetti sauce, if it's, you know what I mean? Like stuff like that, right?
But that works. Okay, so, but here's what I would call a fail. So we had brunch today out at a local restaurant, and my husband and I both had avocado toast. I don't typically eat a lot of breakfast usually, but it's one of my 3 favorite meals of the day.
You guys can see these guys; they're hilarious. I wish we could put them in slow mo. It's going
to get a little loud here for a bit.
It's okay. It's happiness.
It is happiness. So it was avocado toast, like it was toasted sourdough, love it.
Yeah.
Mashed avocado, love it. Arugula, love it. A soft poached egg on top of that, love it. And then hot honey.
That's an interesting add to that.
Yeah. It was not a win.
No.
It was not a win.
Because hot honey on some pizza, not
some
every
of it
pizza.
Works. Some of it works. On this one, I saw it on it was just, described on the menu, and I thought, hot honey, huh? And when it arrived, I tasted it, and I'm like, I still ate it. It was still delicious, of course. But to me, it needed something more maybe acidic, or I wanted more salt. I wanted something more salty and acidic there, as opposed to the honey. But you got to try these things.
But that's what you do. But the other side is, you think they might have tried it before they did that. You know what I mean? And gave it a little, like, the other thing is, I will never make something for company unless I've tested it on her, mostly is what goes. Because sometimes it comes back and it's like, you're really good and Paul's good. And it's like, yeah, that's good, but there's either something missing or something's too, you know what I mean? Like, you really want the feedback, because just because a recipe's there doesn't actually mean it's going to hit our palates, right? Yeah. And that's where I can add that. If somebody says to me, and then my friend Steven is really good. Oh my God, that guy, he could take 4 items from a cupboard and make a gourmet meal. I'm honestly, if you gave him like those shows, he gave him a can of beans and 2 eggs and this, and he'd turn it into something good. I don't have that ability. Levi probably has that ability.
Yeah, I think he does. Yeah, I don't either. However, I could live on beans, toast, and Kraft dinner for a long time.
I like Kraft dinner.
I love it.
It's a Canadian thing.
It's a Canadian thing.
But I also like spaghetti, like that canned spaghetti. I mean, I don't ever get it with any meat in it, because that's gross. Like meat in a can, it just throws me off. But and I think it's because as a kid it was comfort food, right?
My husband grew up on that stuff, and he.
Paul has beans on toast. Is that what you have?
Well, no.
He doesn't actually have it on toast. He has beans and toast.
Yes, I would have it. I would have it like that beside or something.
And then he puts ketchup on it.
Nope. Nope. But those were like my mom worked for a lot of my childhood too, and so those were we're all tired, we just got home, we're all hungry. It would be beans, toast, Kraft dinner. Was there other things? Eggs were and I love eggs.
Oh, chips and eggs. My mom used to make chips and eggs. Oh my God.
When you mean French fries.
French fries, yes. French fries. But French
that's
fries,
a British thing.
It is a British thing. But man, like I was saying to Paul, because we've been talking about, well, first of all, I don't know what happened. I went to Italy and didn't get any weight, and then I came home and I gained like 15 pounds. But I was saying, so we have to find the things, because I'm never giving up French fries or wine. Nope. But we have to find the things, that makes it easy to cook one night, but then other nights where it's just a big salad or something. I said, I have to find a balance because I don't know what happened. Maybe ever since we came back from Italy, maybe I've just cooked everything with cheese. I don't know what happened, because it didn't happen in Italy.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Like there's...
I have to move those. You need to talk about that, but I want to eat them, but we can't, because we'll just be crunchy in their ears.
It is crunchy in their ears, yes.
But so these are... Tzatziki chips.
Yeah, so it's hard bite is the brand. The thing? Yeah.
Excuse me while I come out of the screen.
I've been in and out of the screen all the time. If I ask for permission, no, never. This is hard bite. I bought those at Costco.
So we'll have to flip this so they can actually see, because it's going to be backwards.
No, it won't be.
Okay.
No, it'll be fine. I've gone through this.
She knows things.
Yeah.
Anyway,
they're delicious.
They're as good as the truffle chips.
They are, aren't they? So they're cooked in avocado oil. So there's a little bit of a different that just does something. Yeah. They cook a little bit different that way, but it's a tzatziki
They're crunchier. Coating, it's really good.
Which is sort of the sour cream and onion family, but a little bit tartar. It is. I think
it's really good. So the other thing we were going to do tonight that I forgot, because it's been all kerfuffling all week, is I brought a bunch of stuff back from Thailand. Chips and peanuts. I also still have your peanuts with anchovies, just saying you left them at my house.
I love anchovies. I love anchovies. I love them.
I want to see what you think about this, because to me it seems like it's just peanuts with little dried fish in it. But anyway, I brought these back, and there's like lobster chips, and there's shrimp and cocktail sauce ones, and there's all these ones. So next time we do it, we're going to do a little taste test, and we'll turn off the mic for our crunches, because nothing drives me my God. When you can hear somebody chewing, it makes my head explode.
That is a real trigger for a lot of people.
Oh God! And it's a funny thing, because some people, and so my husband Paul is, I don't know what it is. He's got like a narrow esophagus, so he chews his food a lot, which is actually really healthy to do.
Yeah.
But if it's just me and him sitting at our house, he'd better be watching, like we sit at the table, but he has an iPad and he watches like a TV show at lunch and stuff. But it's like, and I usually have a book. But if it's silent, I want to murder him because I can. And he's like, and he's polite. Like he doesn't talk with his mouth open, and he's not like he's got good table manners. I can hear it though, and it makes me but it induces rage.
Yeah.
Right, and I know, and so apparently it's actually a medical condition. Like it's a hearing thing. What I have.
Yes, I have heard that too. Okay, we're gonna have to look.
Yeah, we have to look it up.
Okay, what are your notes? Honestly, mine says weird hearing trigger.
Mine says medical condition about food that Ruth has. weird thing that Ruth does.
I have heard that. That's something.
It is.
And people are like, I think you and I both are what they call the highly sensitive person.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, like for sure emotionally, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I'm a smell sensitive person, and I wasn't always. Absolutely not. But now, it's such a.
What did you say to me that day on our walk, Roxanne?
What did I say to you?
Why you liked me?
Because she doesn't smell.
So
I can be friends with her because she doesn't smell.
We're walking, and she's like, you know what I really like about you? And I'm thinking, oh, how sweet. She's going to say, you're kind, or you're smart, or you're all these things. And she's like, you don't smell.
I think I said you don't have a smell.
No, I think you said you don't. What I heard was you don't smell.
That's what you heard. There's many reasons I love you. But you know what? One of those is a deal breaker. It's like, you know what? If you used strong fabric softeners, a bad one.
That's terrible,
right? Fabric softeners are real.
It almost hurts my teeth.
Yeah,
right. Like it's like, and we don't. I mean, because it just stinks. But I also don't think whatever chemical they're putting in there is good for you, right?
Can't be good for you.
But it is like. But sometimes you smell too, like, and people have, like, it's just too much cologne it's just like, you know what? And I like I used to wear Estee Lauder white linen. I stopped because I found out they tested on animals. So, but anyway, it, you know what? It was just like the whisper of, and it wasn't quite lilacs, but it was like a whisper of springtime flower. You know what I mean? It was, and I didn't put much on, and I used to love it. And then I heard they tested on animals, and ever since then, it's kind of like, you know what? Just use good soap.
Like
although I like it when I use hairspray that's got coconut in it. I have to say that.
Coconut is a good smell. There's good smells and there's bad smells, right? Yeah. And the chemical ones are the bad
chemical
ones.
Is the bad.
My poor husband, he's like, which spray can I use? Can you just tell me which one I can use? I'm like, I don't know until I smell them all.
Yeah.
Because they give me a headache.
Well, but and I do think it's not because you love flowers, right?
Yeah.
The scent of flowers.
Yep.
Right. But so it's the chemical.
I cannot have lilies in the house. So when Rich and Wanda gave us those beautiful bouquets, I'm like, ooh, I'll take this one. You can have this lovely one.
Does have less lilies?
Lilies.
Right.
I cannot have them in the house.
Oh, interesting.
Like they will trigger a migraine for me.
Right. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Migraines are so fascinating.
Yeah,
right?
They're so freaking weird. It's some kind of neurological deficit, some kind of problem.
So just to know, don't send her lilies.
Don't send me lilies.
Also, send her lilies and she'll give them to me.
But you know what? That's a good segue into a book I just finished reading called The Language of Flowers.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh my gosh, you guys.
Honest to God, you read she has the most expansive genre, things. That's pretty amazing.
It's a tough, I will say this is a tough book to read. This was a tough one for me to read. Because the gist of this book is, it's told from the perspective of a young... She's about a young woman for most of the narration, but she was abandoned at birth and put into the foster system. So she had severe attachment disorder.
Right.
You know this pretty early on in the story, but you also know that she lived with a woman who wanted to adopt her for a time, and this woman who came into her life when she was about 9 she owned a vineyard. But she didn't make the wine. She just grew the grapes.
Right.
But she also grew flowers. So she taught this young girl the language of flowers, which is a British thing, right? Which is a whole about, like if you love somebody, you send them red roses.
Right.
If you think they're cheating on you, you send them yellow roses.
Right.
There's messages to everything.
Yeah.
It's like, sunflowers mean poverty. Do not use sunflowers at your wedding.
Interesting.
There's a dictionary included in this, and part of the plot line is she builds a dictionary for herself of all these flowers. So it's fascinating, and I'm a purely bad weekend gardener kind of person, but I love this stuff. Right?
She's a really great gardener. Just saying, but isn't this? I would like to see what if that's a cultural thing, if that's a British thing, or if flowers mean something different, because I'm trying to think, because my mom loved yellow roses, and I know she wasn't doing it because my dad was cheating, but it was, it's like, I wonder for each culture.
My editor cannot stop. Let's go back.
Oh.
I know she wasn't doing it because my dad was cheating. Where does the comma go there?
I don't freaking know. That's why you're an editor.
What I want to know is, because your dad was cheating?
No, I know she wasn't doing it because she didn't like yellow flowers because she was sending them to herself because he was cheating.
She was sending them to herself because your dad was cheating?
No.
Okay, this is the point I want to get to. Yes. Okay.
So say the sentence better. This is good.
I know she wasn't doing it because my dad was cheating. There's no comma in there at all.
Okay.
I know she wasn't doing it, comma, because my dad was cheating.
Commas matter.
Big deal.
No, it's true, but
so
you know what I mean. But
interrupt.
no, but it is one of those where it's like, so I would say lilacs are my favorite flower. What is that? Like, I'd like to know now what other cultures think each one is, right? Like, because British have because I know white flowers is purity. It's something to do with something.
Well, and there's different white flowers, right? There's white roses, narcissus, different things, right? But that's part of the book too, because one of the conflicts is, have I been drinking your wine? It's possible.
Maybe.
We'll find out.
We'll look when we do the show notes.
But it's because there's flower dictionaries, actually, right?
That's cool.
And they're not always the same.
Right.
So that was part of the plot to this book, was figuring out, so what's the difference between dishonesty and infidelity? They're related, they're related, but are they the same?
So dishonesty doesn't necessarily have infidelity.
Right.
But infidelity has, right? Like
and
that's
then jealousy. So jealousy was in there as well. So jealousy, absolutely. So you know what the difference between jealousy and envy is, right?
I'm always confused.
It's like infer in the other one.
Infer and imply.
Jealousy
makes my brain hurt.
Jealousy is, I want to protect the thing that I have, whereas envy is, I want the thing that you have. Okay,
but so what's the word? Because I think for many years I misunderstood envy. What's the thing where it's like, I'm so happy you have that. That's something I would like too, but I don't want to take it from you.
Well, that's neither.
But what is it then? Like, how would you? So when you say to somebody, like, if somebody was like said to me, because we were just in Thailand, but if somebody said to me, "Oh, I'm so blah blah blah," and it didn't mean that they, we say, I'm so jelly, right? But and the thing is, and I think maybe that's why they try to soften it,
right?
Because it's not like, I want that and I don't want you to have it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I wish I could do that too.
Yeah.
Right?
That's more envy. It's a thing that you've done, and I also would like to do that. So I envy the thing that you have.
It's not like, it's not a limited thing.
It's not a take from you.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Not necessarily. I think. Yeah, I don't think it necessarily means that you want to take something from someone else, but you want the thing that they have.
Right. Except you want the thing too, as opposed. Like as opposed to, this is my wine and you're trying to take it, and instead of, you have wine, I would like that.
Value my life, clearly.
Right. But words words are so interesting to me.
They so are.
It's so amazing.
Yeah. So that was a really cool.
That's a cool
part
book,
of that
and we
book.
have to do that. So we're at 44, and we have to talk as we go into a new year. We got to talk about the things.
Yes, we do. Well, you know what? Since I just talked about books, I'm going to talk about two more books. Okay. Since we're talking Christmas, and you'll be seeing this, you'll still be feeling Christmassy. This one is called A Virgin River Christmas. If I can get the angle right there. By Robin Carr. So Robin Carr,
and is that what they filmed? Is that series?
It's part of the series, yeah. So I don't know if they've included this novel. This is a specific standalone novel, separate from the rest of the series. But when they adapt something for TV, they kind of mash it all up anyway. But it's a lovely book. I'm a huge Robin Carr fan. I love her books. I love the Virgin River series. The TV series, they did it justice. The books are so much better, though. So much better.
But you know what? I don't know. Like, there are some really great movies that have come from books. They're never as good as the books in my mind. Like, I can't name one. Like, I can't name one off the top of my head. Some might be almost as good.
Yeah.
But I can't say one that was like, wow, the movie was better.
Yeah. I know it. I know it's happened to me. I can't think off the top of my head what it was, but every now and then there's one where I'm like, oh, they nailed it. They just nailed it.
As good as the book is one thing.
Right.
Better than the book.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like I didn't read Harry Potter.
Okay.
I'm like the only person in the world who didn't read it because
why
as
would
much
you?
as
It's
I like
kind of
magic, also
Okay.
But the other thing is,
let my dogs out.
it appears that the people loved the movies, right? They didn't say the movies weren't as good.
What's that? What's that? Be quiet.
See, Neo's the quiet one right now.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like people loved the Harry Potter movies.
The movies were well done. I didn't read all the books, but and my kids were at that age at the time, so I did read a bunch of the books, and the books are great.
Yeah.
Like the books are
Yeah.
great, and the movies they're really good.
But to be fair, I think The Lord of the Rings was pretty good. The movies were pretty good, right?
Yes.
And the other thing is, I think The Lord of the Rings, because I read the books.
Did you really? You read all of them?
Yeah.
Whoa.
But
I think I read The Hobbit. That's
right,
it.
but that's just it.
And I had to for school.
So well, that's exactly right. And then it was like, well, I'm in it. I might as well. But the other side of that, I think the movies brought it to a much bigger audience, right?
That's
and
the
so
thing.
then there is
Yeah.
a magic to that.
Yeah.
That if we think about storytelling, that's okay. Like there's a whole thing, and we'll do a whole podcast segment on this. Is people are like, audiobooks aren't reading, and it's like, okay,
Yes,
so
they are.
technically you're right, but you're still hearing the story and getting that, like you're still getting the whole purpose of a book, right? Like, but people are like, oh no, that's not using your mind, and it's like, absolutely it is.
It's the consumption of the story.
Yeah.
So I think of, like, I've had occasionally over the course of my career, people ask me, well, when are you going to write a real book?
What does that mean?
What does that mean? It doesn't.
Oh my God, I'm sorry, whoever has said that to her.
It's
Come
not.
here.
It's not a good question. It's not a good question. But I think what they mean is they either mean, when are you going to write something for a major publisher, which is like, that's not up to me. You know, I can try, but I can only do the best I can with my stories.
Also, sorry to say this. Not everybody like major publishers. It's a whole different beast.
There's a specific thing they're looking for sure. But the other thing is ebooks have been around for so long, and I still hear people say, no, I want to read a real book. I'm like, so the story is the thing. That's the thing that you're buying. You might be buying it in digital format, so you can read it on your phone. Maybe you read it on your Kindle. Maybe you read it on your iPad. It's the story.
Yeah.
Maybe you read it in print version. It's still the story. That is the piece of
so
intellectual
what
property.
They mean a real book, like a printed book?
I guess. I don't know. I can't explore that because that's a place where I might get unpleasant if that conversation happens.
But I think that's a really interesting thing. So to me, and I have to say, I'm a little fussier about audiobooks because if I don't like the narrator, that's a challenge, right? That's a whole other thing. But the thing is, I mean, sometimes life goes on and on and on and on, and sometimes like I get 3 pages in and I'm asleep, right? But you know what I can do while I'm preparing stuff, you know, like I'm making the fruit bread that honestly, once it's like I've meased in place, right? Then it's just a proper.
I love that. You just created a new term.
But then it's just a proper, like, it's just following the thing, which I know how to do. And listening to a book that way, I get far more of the story because honestly, I love reading, except sometimes it's real. I'm just tired and I fall asleep.
You know, I listen to audiobooks all the time. I listen to audiobooks when I'm falling asleep because I don't sleep great either. But I listen to them on 0.7 speed. So I read really fast.
Yeah.
I read really, really fast.
Yeah.
And I know that I miss things when I'm like visually reading a book. But when I'm listening to it on audio, if it's a good narrator, I get a different experience.
Right.
And I love it.
And
so I mostly listen to books that I've already read. I know the story really well. So there's nothing to excite me, get my,
Right.
you know.
Right.
But I can also measure 45 minutes. I clicked it 3 times. That means that I've been awake for
Right.
3, 4.25 hours, whatever the math is. You know.
But it is like, and you can do it like I'm driving in the car because after the U.S. election I gave up cable news, right? Well, I gave up most cable news. I will still, there's a few, but you know what I mean? So you put that on, you get a great experience while you're driving. You get to learn stuff, and if there's for me, I do exactly that. Like usually, if online, if I buy the book, within months I go back and I buy the audiobook and you get it because it's like, oh, I didn't notice that in the book. Now I want to go back.
Yes.
And go to that like and I think that's the thing with how you and I read, right? Is it's just not a one-time thing through the book.
Right.
Yeah. Like it's like all of a sudden you belong. Like honestly, with your last series, I really loved it, but it's like I will go back and read them again because I like those people and I don't want them to be gone from my life. Yeah. Right? So you go back and you read it again because you like the characters, right?
And you like the way they make you feel. Yeah. Like somehow you feel a thing. That's why like I'm listening to The Blue Castle by Lucy Maud Montgomery again for the millionth time.
Lucy. Oh, Lucy.
And I just love, and it's so funny because I've picked up one typo for sure. There's a second one in there too, I think. But one.
There's the editor for you, man.
I'm like, that can't be right. And then I checked the book and like, oh, she's reading it as written, but that was wrong.
Right.
That was not right. But anyway, but it, because it makes me feel hopeful and calm and optimistic and which brings me to my next book recommendation.
Okay, here we go.
So I'm also on Blue Sky, as we've talked about last time. I love Blue Sky too, but all I'm doing on Blue Sky right now is recommending books. So this one, The Lost Recipe for Happiness. So I talked about, I recommended one of Barbara O'Neill's other books called The Secret, something about the secret of happiness or something like that. So Barbara O'Neill is incredibly talented, prolific author who is also a foodie and a chef and a dog lover.
Right. Well, as soon as you put a dog on the cover, I'm in.
Oh my gosh! So this one has recipes in it. So this one features a woman who's running her own restaurant, and she's really struggling. And it's hard. We all know it's hard to run a restaurant.
Oh gosh, yeah.
So there's a love story in here, but it's really it's women's fiction. It's a coming of age, discovering her power, finding her things with food and dogs. And I love.
All she needs is wine now.
Oh my God!
I mean,
exactly.
But
and there's wine in here too.
See?
Yeah.
See? But that's good.
I love her books.
See, everybody, we are going to do better in 2025, which leads us into this, in Roxy's reads, and she's going to recommend stuff, because honestly, sometimes Roxanne says, you should read this book, and it's like, not in a million years. And then she says something like that one for me, because you under
you're gonna put it on your Kindle anyway.
I'm going to put it on my Kindle,
whatever.
I will. But like,
you'll like
it's
that.
like she has. She reads every genre, which honestly I don't, and also I won't read any genre. I won't even read, like, there's some really great older like mystery stuff. And it's like, they don't have cell phones. I'm not reading anything where somebody doesn't have a cell phone. Like in
maybe
fiction,
they have a cool hat and they walk around with their cool cane and they find cool bodies.
You're a much better person than me.
I just wanted the story.
If they don't have a cell phone, I'm not reading it. And it's like, and I'm not reading political things anymore because that makes my head explode. But it's really good. The other thing is I've been learning, because Roxanne will say, well, this is a really good book, but it's kind of dark and blah blah blah. And some of the books she reads are really dark, but like, I think it might have been The Tattooist of Auschwitz.
Oh, did you read that?
I downloaded it,
okay,
right? And then my husband read it, and he's now like completely fascinated by it. I got the audio book of it because I'm not sure. I think that book is dark enough I wouldn't be able to read it.
Yeah.
But I think if I was like audiobook, I think I would be able to manage it because I would do chapter by chapter. Right? You know what I mean? But I never would have had that. And I have an interest, because because of what's going on in the world now, but an interest in the human behavior and humanity of what happened in Germany at that time, and I think it would be really great to understand it, but I kind of want to hear it in somebody's voice, and I realize it's not. I realize it's not the protagonist's voice, but
But it kind of is.
It kind of is, right?
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing. Like reading it, I think I would take it in too heavy, right? Because
Yes.
reading lands harder than audio somehow.
Reading is for me. There's a visual, there's an immersive aspect to it.
Yeah.
So when I'm reading something, the world falls away.
But that's just it.
If it's a good book, the world falls away, and
Hey, Ray's going to come and make an appearance.
Make a cameo.
Cameo.
There he is. That's my boy. That's my bae, as the kids say.
As the kids.
And he's opening the wine fridge. What is he going to find?
Ooh, look at. Hey, Paul's probably over at our house, Ray, if you want to text him.
Is he?
Yep.
Well, that is where he lives, so.
Yeah, well,
He
maybe
probably is there.
we'll see. Right, okay, let's go to 2025. Hey, Ray, do you have a thing for 2025 you want to share with
Highlights
anybody?
and hopes?
I hope none of my things fall off.
None of your things fall
Ray
off?
doesn't want any of his things to fall off.
That
Might be too much information.
I
man.
am happy to hear that as a goal. I don't know what to do with that.
Yep. But those, okay, we're going to do Roxy's reads more.
We're going to do more Roxy's
Oh, he's
reads.
got one.
My
Let's
goal
hear.
for 2025
Yeah, come over here.
is to stay calm.
Oh, that's a good one. So my husband has very courageous, no courage was involved, but because he's a courageous guy to start with, but he allowed himself to go on Strata Council here. So
He took the recommendations of all of us about how good he would be, but I also think he'll be really good.
he's going to be great. Like he's
'Cause
done
he's
this kind of thing before,
and he's a no BS
he's
kind of
good.
guy.
He is a no BS kind of guy. He is a tell it like it is. As fun as that is to live with at times.
Here, you come over here. Look at that little smile. They need to see your little smile.
Exactly.
So tell us, Ray.
He's going to be so
He will.
good.
Tell us what your 2025 besides not murdering people thing
Staying
is.
calm?
Stay calm.
Staying calm.
See, I interpreted what you said differently. But so what are your hopes? Like we don't want to go to goals,
A
but
lower
hopes.
handicap.
A lower handicap.
Golf.
Golf.
Always
It's always
people.
gonna be
Okay,
golf.
what else?
He wants to
Tennis.
win all
More
his
tennis?
fantasy football things.
Win all my fantasy football.
Okay, what else?
Aren't those really big pie in the sky
They're
kind of things?
absolutely.
Absolutely.
What else?
Life goals, man.
Drink no bad wine.
There's
That's
a good one.
That's good.
Okay.
Now I'm running out. Like those are very lofty.
Okay, bye. Go find my husband.
And we're done.
Yeah. Yes. What are your goals?
My goals? Okay, so my goals. So let's talk about highlights first. Let's
Oh,
talk about
yes, highlights of 2024. She's got notes, man.
I do have notes.
Okay.
Well, I was waiting for you. I'm like, what is she doing? How long does it take to shower?
I was making lemon curd and fruit
She was.
bread.
So in 2024, we really got going on this podcast. Like that's
true.
when we really started.
Nope,
so that's a
true.
highlight for
It
me.
is. It's a big highlight.
So you were gone in Thailand. Damn it, she leaves me all the time. And you know what was the most fun of
What?
that week was editing the podcast. I'm like, oh, there we are. We're having our conversation. It's fun. I feel happy. So yeah, the Happy Hour with Ruth and Roxy podcast is fantastic. And I love it. And I love that we really kind of found our rhythm, I think, in 2024. So that was a highlight.
That's a good one.
Going to Italy and Greece.
Yeah, that was really
Big
good.
highlight.
Yep.
So I'm talking with the people that we had for brunch with today. They didn't like the food in Rome. I'm like, I got nothing. I can't. Really? You got tired of? Honestly, I think I'm drinking your wine. But I guess I'll find out.
I agree,
guess I'll
because
find out
it's
when
gone.
when I edit it.
Yes.
But they got tired of pasta. They're not really into bread, and they didn't find enough vegetables. I'm like, I don't know what to say to that. I had the best food of my life in Rome and Greece.
And Greece.
And we had lots of vegetables.
We did.
We had, but I did say, I'm like, we traveled with people who know what they're doing and have been here before and knew the restaurants that we want to check out and eat at, and we had the best food.
It was awesome.
It was awesome.
But the other thing is, I have to say, and it's why for me it's fun traveling with you guys beyond, I'm just in the same room as you. But it's like because you're ready to try stuff.
I will try anything.
Like we had.
That's a scary thing to say.
It is.
Don't get that as a tattoo.
But you know what? I think that, and I mean, I have to say that trip was one of ours because it was really fun. But it was also like, hey, we found, because I do a lot of the food plannings because I go
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
like wherever we're going, I'm like, what are the 10 best restaurants? But then I go deeper and it's like not just what TripAdvisor says, but like what these obscure blogs say or podcasts or stuff like that. And then it's like, hey, do you want to try this or this or this? And you guys are like, all of them. Right. And so it's fun to travel with people who are like willing to risk maybe it's going to be a crap meal. Right?
You know, how bad can it be?
But especially freaking Italy. I mean,
exactly.
And you can get like we had great salads and great, we had good things.
yeah.
And especially in Greece, holy man, that Greek salad
on Santorini,
Yeah.
unbelievable.
right?
So, yeah, so that was
but
a
I
highlight.
think, but it's a good thing, but also people that want to, especially if they want to eat kind of really healthy all the time. I'm not sure Italy is fun, right? Because it is a lot of
pastry options.
But
even and I said this to them. I'm like, so we went to that little market that was down below our restaurant, right? And we just got this
down below
sandwich.
our restaurant.
Down below.
Oh, our hotel. We live in restaurants.
Down below our hotel, right?
They
and
don't
we
like
got
bread.
And it was bread. It was bread. It was mortadella. It was arugula.
Yeah.
I think that was it.
Maybe there was cheese, but I don't remember.
I don't know that there was much else on there. Best sandwich of my life.
Yeah.
So delicious. But yeah, if you're trying to avoid bread, that makes it challenging.
If you're avoiding, and I mean, Italians don't just eat pasta and bread, but the other thing is there are things you can get, but it's gonna be stuff that we like artichokes.
Totally.
You know what I mean? Stuff that isn't typical here. That you have them in the grocery store.
Yeah.
But it's not, if it's not part of your thing, and that's the challenge of it is going there. And I think it's hard. I think it's hard to eat within the thing of your world if you're very
to be
specific.
fair, they do have some health concerns they're working around. So I get it. That can make things really challenging. I'm like,
and it's not for everybody.
I don't want to know about my health challenges yet. I will go to the doctor when I come home.
But also it's like especially when you're there as a tourist, it isn't like, I don't expect, and maybe I'm wrong because we're not vegetarian, but there are a lot of vegetarian restaurants in Italy, right?
Yeah, that's
there
possible.
might be, but we didn't look. Right?
Yeah.
And so it is like we have really good friends who eat very healthy, right? And it's like when they travel, they're always like kind of let down. And honestly, even in Thailand, you can always get something, but you have to know what to order. The other thing is you have to know what to order.
You have to know what to order. Yeah.
Who's scratching?
I don't know.
Some dog. But okay. All right. Yeah. But I have to say, okay, let's see what else you got.
Just a couple of other things. So what were your highlights for this year?
What about yours? We're going to finish yours first.
Well, Italy and Greece, I went to Gabriel Island with my oldest daughter, which was really fun because I haven't seen my grandson as much. So we spent a weekend together in Gabriel, and that was just
That's
lovely.
awesome. Yeah.
My film deals are a highlight.
That's exciting, right?
Finishing that friggin' 4-book
series.
Big deal for me.
Yeah.
Just getting that crossed off. Getting Neo, where is he?
Oh, he's such a good boy.
He is a good boy. That was a highlight. And I added Blue Sky. That was a late entry, but I like Blue Sky. It feels safe. It feels like a safe social media platform. Yep. And I'm not great on social. I've never been good on social media.
Blue Sky's a good one.
I don't use it the way I should to market myself as an author. I just can't do it. I have to be somewhat real, as opposed. And I mean, I did a blog post about this as well. Social media is not real. We know this.
Oh, it's not real.
It's not real at all.
Blue Sky's realer.
But Blue Sky is realer. And I feel like you understand too. You and I are similar in that we want the authenticity of relationships, interactions, wherever they are, online, in real life, all those things. But we know that social media, that is not what it's for. It is not for reality. It is for an image, and we're all putting forth a persona that we want to project to the world. And then you save the personal stuff, the really, the delicate, the real stuff for your real relationship.
But that's just it. And I think that's a really good point, because every once in a while I post, especially on Facebook, because I don't post on Facebook when life is hard. I don't post. I mean, the most I've ever done is sort of posted tributes to the people that have passed on, right? I don't go on and say, oh my God, you guys, we lost a client, this happened, this guy, because first of all, I need to work that through. And the
Yeah.
other side is first of all, they can't, my good friends are going to know it and they're going to help me. And anybody else, why would I put, like, who wants to read that?
Yeah.
Right? Like, but
Yeah.
I also don't want to. And I go on sometimes and just say, so here's the deal. Cause I post food pictures and I cook a lot,
You do.
but I only post I put the pretty ones up, right? But I go on sometimes and like, I posted a photo one time of the spaghetti in a can on toast and I got reactions
I
like,
bet
what
you
the
did.
hell? Right? Oh no, it was just like, it wasn't like, oh, glad to see you. They were just like, that's disgusting.
Oh.
Right? And so one friend said, but at least you put parsley on it. But it was like, and I was laughing because it was
bad.
like, this is reality, you guys. Like, I only show you the freaking successes. I never show you the fails.
I don't know how to handle that. I have author friends who are really, really honest on social media, and they talk about, writer's block, and they talk about the struggles they're going through for here. And I do a little bit of that, but not very much.
But you
so I
tend
don't
to-
post a lot.
but
because it's all that.
But
It's like,
but you
who
also
wants to read that?
But you also tend to do it in a way that shows that you can be a successful author who still gets this. Like what you're saying is this is a challenging path for all of us, and I get that. But you don't post where it's like, I don't know what the freaking ending is, right? Because honestly, that's just a part of the process.
It
And
is,
who
yeah.
wants? But it's
Yeah.
the other thing. Like, I don't post stuff about, like, I'll post stuff about great clients, and I don't post a lot about who they are. But I'm never going to post like, oh, we had some asshole client say this, because
Yeah.
honestly, first of all,
Stuff gets back.
but it's and also, who cares?
Who cares?
Right? Because I don't want to be that negative. I want somebody to
Yeah.
come and go, oh
Yeah.
my God. Because honestly, my job when it's feeling bad, and it's kind of become your job too, is to find something joyful. And
Yeah.
you're always
Yeah.
like, look at, we got wine. Look at, we got chips.
We got
right?
wine.
But
Well, and the other, I don't know where I read this, but somewhere is you don't post about things that are unresolved. So if you have an issue with somebody or you've
No,
got an
'cause that's
ongoing
just
thing,
crap.
you do not go and post something that is you working through it or you being passive aggressive, saying something.
Yeah.
You don't do that.
No.
You work through the thing. You
Yes.
privately solve it
Right,
with
right,
the
but that's
person.
just it.
And then once it's solved and you've made your peace with it and all that, then you can post about it. But you do not.
If you're comfortable. So
Yes, yes.
our friend Della, and if both of you, like, if both or whoever the group is
Mm-hmm.
comfortable, right? But our friend Della says, don't post when you're mad, sad, or glad,
Mm.
because all of that, and don't make decisions then,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
because all of that is like, if it's like woo-hoo, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I just got this. You don't know that somebody didn't just lose their job on your feet, right?
Exactly.
And during
Yeah.
COVID, I mean, honestly, during COVID, our little company did really well, right? And we did really well because we earned a good reputation and lots of people had to deal with really hard things, right? I didn't go out because I saw people saying, oh my God, I just got laid off.
Yes.
And there's no way I was going to go out and say,
We just got
here's-
3 great new
yeah,
clients.
yeah, like, you know what I mean?
You can't
It's like,
do
it's
that.
like, first of all,
Yeah.
understand that you have this little piece, but when I'm posting about, I mean, honestly, I'm not a, what's the, it's not Harlequin now, what's it called? The romance stuff. Like, I'm not but I'm not and I'm not ever going to post about Paul. It's like, oh, my husband brought me breakfast, because he doesn't bring me breakfast in bed, just saying, or make coffee
You
because
make
he
the
doesn't know,
breakfast.
and also he doesn't know how to make coffee because he doesn't drink it. But it's like, I'm never going to do that because, oh my God, somebody out there has just had a
Yeah,
conversation
yeah.
in their marriage. Like,
Yeah.
I'm never going to do that. What I will post is freaking food and me and you being stupid and travel. and part of the reason I post travel is because I hope somebody will go, oh, I want to go there, right? Like, but I also post travel where it's like, I just posted because honestly, we just stayed at a hotel that was like the most beautiful hotel in the world that we've ever paid for. As travel PR people, we've stayed in some great
Wow.
places, but it was like, but it's also like, also it was Thailand, and honestly, that hotel that we had our pool, and then there was the hotel pool, and then there was the freaking ocean, right? Except, you know what? That was $300 a night Canadian. You can't get a hotel
Unbelievable.
downtown for that.
Unbelievable.
Right? So I felt okay. Like, but
Yeah.
well, first of all, we're never going to stay in $1,500 a night hotels because, first of all, in my mind, that's what I'd rather spend that money on restaurants.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Or something else. And also, I'm never going to spend that money on restaurants. right? But you know what I mean? Like, there's
Yeah.
better. Like, I can stay in great hotels and still contribute to helping people feed their kids and,
Yep.
and help, you know,
Yeah.
these people. But I do think social media is a great place to help inspire people. But if you're putting up a bunch of, if you're putting up stuff that makes your life better than it is, shame on you.
That's how I feel about it. I have a blog post that I'll be probably a couple of days after you see this that I'll be posting about that exact thing, about the idea that there are people that are out there who are always taking the shiny happy people pictures and posting those, and those are, to me, those are dangerous.
Yep.
And you know, my community is the writer community, so I hear people talking about, you know, oh, this book I'm frustrated about. And really, you know what, if you talk to any writer for any length of time, it'll be how terrible their life is and how much they wish they had gone into a job that gave them a pension.
Right.
Because it's a tough road to hoe.
It is a tough gig.
But
right?
but like, we all have great things. But my point and my blog post came about because there was a conversation on one of the groups that I follow where someone who's really struggling, and I said, and one of her comments was, you know, I see you guys posting on social media about the great reviews and this great cover and all these great things you're getting. And I said, look at honey, you need to know social media lies. It's not true what happens. For every up, there's a down.
Yeah.
For every single great thing that I post, there's a thing where I'm like, I thought this was going nowhere. This is where my career dies.
Yeah.
And this is a good thing. So now when I get good news, and I have a lot of good news, I've had wonderful.
It's been a good year.
Wonderful success in my. I couldn't pay the bills if it was just me. Like, if I didn't have a patron of the arts in my husband, it's not a sustainable career. And I've had way more success than most writers.
Yeah.
And I recognize that. But for every good thing that I post, there's something down here that
Oh my
says,
gosh. Right?
You know, where somebody ignored me, or something was missed, or I didn't get this
Or you
thing.
got some crap editor that you know,
exactly.
tries to.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's a bit like when the Hollywood writers and stuff went on strike, and people are like, "You people are all rich," and they're like, "No,
they're not."
You know, some of us have night jobs,
Yeah.
working
Yeah.
as a bartender, right? Like I think everybody thinks you publish this and you do this, and honestly, it's like it's one of those things where it's like
Entertainment and arts, no,
right,
No.
and. It's one of those things where we have to be more compassionate, and you are really good about like, oh, this has been a struggle and this has been this. Like, you are really authentic online, but you also celebrate your successes, which is
try.
really, but it's also really important.
You've been really helpful that way.
I was going to say bully, but that's a
She
bad word.
pushes me. She pushes
I encourage her.
She encourages
right?
me.
But
Yeah.
but the thing is, like, but I think, but that's another. We should do a bigger podcast, like a bigger about this, because I think that's important. I think it's good to show that you can do stuff. But the other side is, like, honestly, like, if we post like that, we're able to. First of all, we don't have kids, so that's a whole other thing, right? Because we don't have the expensive children, right? So
right,
it's
right.
a whole other
Yeah.
it's a whole other financial reality, right?
Oh God, yeah.
Right. But the other thing is, if we post that we travel, what I haven't posted is, for the last 21, almost 22 years, is we've worked weekends, I've worked birthdays, right? We've done all these things to get to a place where now
You guys work hard when the work is there.
Yeah, and we're doing better now, partly because you've influenced us, where it's like, you think they're going to come to your funeral and celebrate you because you worked, like, and now I say,
Laziness is contagious.
No, but I do say to clients sometimes, it's just like, how quickly do you need this? Because you have to understand you only get overnight turnaround a certain amount of times.
Right.
And when you talk to them like that, and it's like, and now I've taken, and this has been really like, I used to think I did it until you were like, what are you doing? It is now I say to them, you know what, a screw up on your part does not constitute an emergency on my part.
And that is such a great lesson, right? Your lack of planning is not my emergency.
Yeah, but and I've learned that from you, right?
Well, that's cool. I love that. That's a
Okay, back to the good stuff, man.
Back to the
Because
good
we keep like
hope for 2025.
Yes.
I am going to I'm going to hit my yard next year because I've had a couple of years where I've kind of neglected it. I did more this year than I did the year before.
Her yard is
But
beautiful.
I still didn't do enough.
You should put up some of the pictures you have, though, of when it's like full summer on here.
I could.
You need to put
I
up
could
a
find
couple
some.
of those.
I could find some. But I need to. But I moved a bunch of roses around. I moved some plants, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I need to step up my game because we have a beautiful yard, and it could be
that's
great.
really beautiful.
And
it is great. Just saying.
Yeah.
Here's like, I'm an underachiever, and I walk in her garden. It's like, oh my God, I could take tours through here.
I don't know. The thing about gardening is it's never done. Like, and gardeners understand that, and we don't resent that. That's not. So my husband is not a gardener. He would like pave it all.
He's
put in
an
a
A
tennis
to B
court.
guy, right?
A to B guy. He's like, geraniums. Let's put in geraniums everywhere. I'm like,
Okay, just for the record. Also,
you're
sometimes
hurting
my
me.
husband, because geraniums are easy and they're cheap.
And there's nothing wrong with geraniums.
I like geraniums,
I
but,
like
but
geraniums.
you don't want a garden full of them.
So we have throughout the course of our 7 million years together
7 million, you heard it here.
accepted or somehow come to deal with the fact that we have different ideas for the yard. You know, like I love a lush, growing, evolving, maybe somewhat self-maintaining kind of thing. And he's like, I want to see dirt
Also,
with no weeds in it.
But to be fair, we've said that 3 times this time. But when we have our moon dance, and so the moon dance is split between our 2 backyards, right? When we have the moon dance, he's showing people your garden. Bless his little heart. Like the thing is, I get it because he's a minimalist kind of guy.
Yeah.
Right. But when we bring in, he's like, oh, and here's this, and here's this, and it's really funny because when I see him doing it, I want to tape him. And next time when you say, I want to buy this bush, and he says, no, we don't need that, and you can go, let me play this back.
We were in our previous house for 17 years. For 15 of those years, I was literally digging out a path up the mountain. It was a greenbelt yard, and we had this backyard that was basically rough mountain grossness. And I like to do, like, the physical stuff makes me feel good. Not so much as I get older and I sit
Honestly,
more. It's really dangerous. But
I swear. But wait, I have to
But
say
I
this.
love doing that
So I
stuff.
swear to God, she's like, hey, I'm going to do this in the yard and blah blah blah. And it's like, okay, tell me when you're moving that rock or that tree. And we're not talking rock. We're talking rock.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, okay. And then like 5 hours later, I haven't heard this. Like, what are you doing? She's like, my back hurts. I moved the rock.
I moved the rock.
And it's like,
I shouldn't have moved
like,
the rock. But for 15 years, he's like, what are you doing? Like, where are you going with this? And I would say, literally, at one point, I turned to him and I said, I'm waiting for the mountain to tell me what I should do. I will listen to the mountain. And he's like,
What
oh my
did he
God,
say?
the woo-woo-ness is killing him.
the tree huggers here,
he
man.
wants like a 3-prong
Right.
plan, and he wants a
Yeah.
date lane. And I'm like, you know what? Until I start cutting into that rock, I don't know what's there. So I can't plant anything.
See, that makes me happy. Because the
And
mountain will tell you.
The mountain will tell you. You cut into that thing and it's like, oh, it's all right. So even here, oh my God, you know what it's like to dig a hole in
There
this
are rocks
ground?
everywhere here.
There are rocks everywhere. So I'm like, well, you know what? If I can get a hole big enough, I'm going to plant a tree there. If not, I'll plant something else. But the mountain will tell me.
But that's
the
just
land
it,
will
right?
tell me.
Right?
And I
That's
will live with
exactly.
it. And he's
Mother
like,
Nature will tell you.
science. I need science. I need hard numbers. I need math. Oh, I'm like, oh.
He's funny. Okay, I want to know what else you got, man.
New writing projects. I'm going to Kauai with my husband. We haven't been to Hawaii in several years, before COVID, I'm going to say. So this
That's
year
nice.
we're going,
That'd
so
be
that'll be
fun.
nice. I got a new granddaughter coming in February, unless she comes early, which my daughter thinks she's going to be early. So
Like early now or early January?
she's ready anytime. She's like, can this kid please come now? Yeah, she's had a rough go of it with this pregnancy, but yeah. So I have a new granddaughter coming soon.
That's pretty
so,
good.
Yeah, I felt that way with all my kids. All my kids went overdue, so I'm like, okay, honey, you just jinxed yourself big time. You want this baby early. You prepare for a late February,
Right, but that's
birth.
just it, which makes it harder because you want the baby early, right?
And she's got more fluid kind
Right.
of than she should. So
Yeah.
baby's big. This is a big little girl.
Are they sure it's
It's absolutely
it's one child.
It's absolutely one child, and it's absolutely a girl. And she now can read the ultrasounds enough. She's like, oh yeah, I could see myself. This is definitely a girl. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So
we
have that to look forward to. So that's exciting. Yeah. So we had planned to go to Hawaii in January, and then, we found out that we're having a grandbaby then.
Grandberry. They're having a grandberry, man.
And she's been so sick throughout this pregnancy. So I'm like, you know what? No, we're not going to go in January. We'll wait until March. By then, everything's settled and sorted, and it's all good. So we'll say hello to new granddaughter, and then go to Hawaii. So what do you got to look forward to in 2025?
So in 2024, the podcast has been pretty amazing. We got to, from December 2023 to December 2024, we went to Africa, right? We went to Kenya and on safari, which honestly is like my happy place.
That's your heaven.
It's the most amazing thing. But we also got to go to Paris, because we went to Paris to get over some jet lag, and then we went to Italy and Greece with you guys, and I think Croatia and Montenegro. Like, we went to a few other places on that.
Were you? What? When we were there?
Yeah, we went to one other country.
We didn't go to Croatia.
We go to Montenegro?
We didn't go to Montenegro. No, we didn't go to Montenegro.
But we went somewhere. Anyway.
Yeah, we were.
We'll figure it. We went to some other, right? And then I went on an Alaskan cruise. Without Roxanne, which was supposed to be Roxanne, but that's okay.
I'm still sick about that. I so wanted to go on that cruise.
We'll go. More things are coming, but then we just recently went to Thailand, which is this is our fourth time, and we really.
I now want to go to Thailand.
Oh my God! Right? But honestly, I'd go, because now there's a place. So this time we went to Bangkok, honestly, for food, because
according to the pictures,
Phil, that's all, food and drink. And then we went to Phuket, which is southern and beaches and stuff. And we went to Patong. I don't know if we'd go to Patong again. It's kind of got the dodgy stuff in it. And we had a really lovely hotel that we really liked there. But yeah, and it was great, but it wasn't as great as I remembered, right?
Okay.
And then we went to this I call it Dog Beach, because they've got these like beach dogs, like street dogs, but all the people take care of them. And we went to a different hotel, and they were absolutely amazing. It's called My Beach Resort, and I'm gonna write a whole blog post about them, because they were magical. And our little the little beach bar we went to, which I think might be beach restaurant, I forget what it's called, but I'll do it, because I talked the owner into letting me and Rox write a cookbook for him for no money.
I'm so in. I don't care.
For freaking no money, because honestly, Thai people make such little money, but you can go to this. So we went to this beach bar one night, and there were friends of ours met us from Seattle there. It's Mama and Elisa and Brian and stuff.
They're lovely.
And they brought a friend from Japan. So that was 3-4 of them, two of us. So 6 people. We ate everything we could possibly eat. Wow. Drank all the drinks and beer we possibly wanted, and there was a fire show by people. Ooh. And you know what the bill was? $60 US.
What?
And honestly, it's like, and the guy who runs it is lovely and charming, right? And then we first met the owner, because we've been going to this place for 3 times now. But honestly, these are the people that, there are these beach dogs, and the beach dogs sleep in their restaurant, and everybody makes sure they're fed, and there's all these things. And it's like, this is the most magical place. And so we're going to do this cookbook, because honestly, for me, I don't care if we make any money, and I volunteered you.
I'm here for you, baby. But the other side is,
they don't make that much money, so this could be something great for them, right? And they were so good to, like, even if we said to them, okay, you have to take 15% of this book and make sure that you get veterinary care for the dogs. If they said they're going to do it, they're going to do it.
Yeah.
The Thai people are, it's called the Land of Smiles for a reason. They are the most welcoming, sweet, charming, honest people, and they have integrity. If they tell you they're going to do something, they absolutely do it.
Oh, right? I love that.
It is so we got to go back there, which I'm really grateful for. And honest God, the food is stinking crazy. And I brought back I took a cooking class. I brought back all these things. So we're going to be doing a lot of Thai food for a simple Tuesday.
Good.
Not spicy.
I'm happy with that. Whatever, spicy.
Well, we have to because Ray's not the spicy guy. So we'll put spicy on the side.
Totally. We can do that. So, one of the last times we went to Tofino, which is on Vancouver Island, and that is our like
You love
heart
it.
and soul place. We took our kids there for 10 years during their growing up years.
It's got magic for you.
It's got some magic for us. But there are lots of beaches there too, and it's West Coast Canadian, so it's not the same kind of beach that you're talking about. But there were dogs there too. Like we walked down and a few times we brought our dogs, but not always. I'm trying to think. So we didn't have a dog with us that time. And this yellow lab just starts following us. And, we walk down, we're like, oh, okay, we're going to go down to this beach. And the dog just, he belongs to somebody.
But he wanted to hang out.
I don't know who. Right? But he knows he's going to go and hang out at the beach, and then he's going to go back to the surf shop, and eventually he'll go home to his people.
But that's right. And that's just it. And it's like when you see people that care about the dogs, and so and we met a few dogs this time on the beach that belonged to people, because the beach we went to the first time we went, it was like way out of the way. Nobody had freaking ever heard of it. It was all this, and now there's more hotels and more being built, and it's going to become. But you know what hasn't changed is how people care about each other and the animals. And there were more like dogs that belonged to people.
Okay,
but it was like one of those where it's like every restaurant on the beach, dogs come in and and at one point we had a guy who brought a dog in, and he was like, oh, my dog is so frustrating, and he came over and laid with us, and he's like, he's gonna beg, and it's like, we have dogs, I understand that, we're good, and it's like, we won't give him food because I don't know what he can have, and he's like, I appreciate it, but he's gonna tell you he's never eaten, right? And but here's this guy who came in on a sailboat, right? And at one point Paul was like, he looks like a guy in a band, like a big band. And so I don't think it was, but I don't think it was, but it was really funny because he's just a guy at the beach bar. Right. But it was like, it's like that. Like I want to go to communities that do that, especially when it's so hard. But Thailand is a place, and I thought, honestly, I like Thailand. Paul loves it. But this time when I went, it was like, with the world kind of going crazy, this is a pretty great place to go, right? Is because the people that go to Thailand, because honestly, the ones that are staying at $2,000 resorts are never, they're probably not going to be our people, is better to say, because I don't want to prejudge.
Right.
But they're also not going to be the people that say, hey, can your dog come see me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I don't want to prejudge, because not everybody with money is evil.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. But they might not necessarily be down with the people.
And
the dogs on the beach.
And this little place, like, on the beach where it's like, at one point, honestly, there was one, and I wish I could have videotaped it, but they know when the tide comes in and out. But one night, and I think it was a full moon, so the tide came up a bit more. So the poor guy that runs the restaurant is running around, and he's like, because I take my shoes off, because you're on the beach, right? I take my shoes off, and he's running around picking up all our shoes and lining them up so we can, so the tide won't take them out. And at one point, the tide came up, honestly, we're sitting there, and it like smacked me up to here, right? And he was just like, full moon. Right? And like everybody's laughing, and he's like, do you want me to move you up? And it's like, no, this is the best dinner ever, right?
Yes. Oh my goodness.
Like, but it's just like the people. So I'm not sure Thailand might be for Ray, but he might be convinced. But
I think he could be convinced.
Right. But you know what I mean? But you can always come with us, because now I want to go back again.
I want to go now.
Yeah.
Like now I want to go.
Yeah. It is. Oh my God.
I have to find enough medication to get me through the whole plane ride to get there thing, because I do not like flying.
Man. But you know what the other thing is? If you go to Bangkok for a few nights, which I think everybody should, and if you came, we would go north to Chiang Mai and Chiang Rai, which I think is where Stephanie went.
My daughter's been there. She's been to both places.
Because that's where those domes, the bubbles, and you can sleep out with the elephants.
Oh, I do love elephants. Yeah. Okay. So we'll
do
talk
that.
about that.
Anyway, we will. That will be sweet. Yeah. Luna's here talking. Okay, so anyway, we did some really great travel last year. We have worked with really great clients on some pretty, right? Like, because Roxanne works with us.
We've had some very cool projects.
And stuff that moves society forward, right? Like, we've been really lucky. It hasn't just been like, and honestly, I am not against the hey, we've got a new microwave kind of PR. It's just not our thing. But we've worked on some really good stuff, like helping people with really serious addiction and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And working on things like to help recruit teachers, showing the things that could happen and how to better set up the system, and like we've got to do that. I think that's one of it.
Well, and even just things like what's great about BC, who wants to visit where in BC, and I mean, we've got some of the communication on that, right?
Yeah.
Like that's kind
it's
of really cool,
and it's
right?
because BC is great, right?
BC
like
is amazing.
Right, and that's just it. Like we get to, and we're all at a stage of our careers, I think, where, and we always put it out. So there's Roxanne and our designer Marcel and our associate Lori, who is magical and has been with us for, oh my God, but
Holy
also
cow.
she has been with us. So Aha's about to be 22. I think Lori's been with us for about 20 years now.
No kidding.
Right, and so and
she's got an eye.
She's
like the stuff she sees.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
And honestly, she is always so positive, and we often tend to be a sort of last minute, hey, can you look at this? Because that's just sometimes how it works.
That's the nature of the job.
But honestly, Lori has always been like, I've got this, and when you know what, and when she can't, and same as you, when you can't, you just say it straight up, and that's all you need, right? What we would never want is somebody who's like, yeah, I'll do it, and then they don't do it because they can't do it. You know what I mean? You just need straight up. But we are so lucky for AHA to be at this stage where clients come to us mostly, right? I mean, like we don't have to go out there and pitch, but I think all of that, and I think we have, especially you and I, cemented our friendship with Pink Beverly, who I'm going to talk about in a love note, who we love, and Rich and Wanda. Like we've expanded our little circle, and of course Julie and JD. But coming in 2025, and now I'm going to drop a bombshell, Rox.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
Are you going to cry?
Probably.
So Paul and I have decided to move to the island, Vancouver Island, and that means what. It's a really funny thing, but what keeps coming to me is No More Simple Tuesday, and that kind of makes me cry, right? So we every Tuesday one of us makes a meal and we share, and we don't share it, we deliver it.
Yeah, we just deliver it. We just make twice the amount of food that we normally would, and we deliver it. And that's so that goes. So that's been quite
this. Oh, she is crying. Oh my God.
I'm not crying.
You are. I can see the tears.
You're crying. I'm not crying. You're crying.
Nope. I have onions.
It will be an adjustment. But our friendship is solid.
Oh my God, so solid.
The podcast is solid. Yep. We're going to keep going with the podcast.
Just saying she's crying.
I'm not crying. I could be crying. I could. You'll see crying eventually.
No.
I'm not crying.
Okay, but honestly, none of that is going to change. Also, I found a house I really like, and it's got
I want that house.
It's got this
I want you to have that house.
two double car garage, and up above it has a loft. It's all got to be sorted. But the house is great, right? The house is good. The exterior, like the pool and everything. The house inside, like the kitchen is. I would give it up, but I want to build a little house there. So Roxanne can, and they can just come over, right? I want a little house on my thing.
Well, and it's really funny because, and I don't know this because you didn't say this, but like, so my oldest daughter has been wanting to build a compound, a family compound of some kind on Gabriel Island, which is why we went out. She and I went out on to stay there for a bit in the springtime, and our middle daughter wants to build on Salt Spring Island, and so it's like, as our kids are already like close to 2 hours east of us, and we feel that pressure to be closer to our kids, especially as we get older, and we want
the grandkids show up.
And the grandkids, right? So how can we manage that? And now with you guys going that direction, we're like, it's just a matter of time. It's always been a matter of time.
It's always figuring out what works best, right?
Yeah, and you need to be close. And your family's on the island. Yep. You don't have a lot of family.
No, I have a sister and a niece, and her husband is somebody I've been very close to over the years, right? So his family, and that's
you
all
need to be close
yeah.
to them. So I totally get that. That makes sense. That makes sense for you. And now I'm like, like I love where we live. I love this. There's so much that's great about this community.
And our little corner is amazing.
But from the beginning, when we moved here, our kids are like, you moved farther away from us? How did you? Don't worry, we'll drive. We'll do all the driving. Well, now we're looking at, Christmas. They're predicting this like glut of rain and possibly freezing rain
right.
to happen on the 24th to the 25th. Do we want to drive to Richmond in that? Nope, don't want it. We will do it. We are not asking our kids to do it.
Right.
Absolutely not. Do not want them in the car doing this thing, but we'll do it. But
as long as it's
reasonable.
right,
if it's crazy, we won't go.
Yeah.
But if my kids end up on the island,
over there somewhere,
which is a good chance.
No,
you better have a good suite for me.
No, but that's just it, right? But that's exactly, and I think this will change nothing except Simple Tuesday.
Yeah.
And what that will mean is, but we've already committed to 3 or 4 days a month. 1 month I come here, and then she comes there, and we're gonna it changes nothing with us. But for us, what it changes is closer to family, and I haven't always been close with family. But what it also changes is we don't have pensions, and we've talked about this a lot, like the financial stuff. I was thinking we could do a podcast about that kind of thing, right? It's because it frees up some money, because these houses have gone up a lot since we moved in. It frees up money to invest, to think about the future and that kind of thing. And honestly, I've always been that I'm going to work forever. I'm going to do this. It's always going to be. But you know what happens? You think you're going to work forever, and then the clients stop coming.
Oh, the clients stop coming, or something happens. You get a diagnosis, or suddenly you realize, oh, frick, I can't sit at my desk anymore.
Or even like the brain power, because I'm with enough coffee and enough energy drinks and good energy drinks. People don't everybody freak out. It's not caffeine, but I'm okay. But what happens when you start to age out of being quick?
Yes,
right? Because that's just natural.
It is natural. I really think this was part of my problem with the last 15 months of writing these books. I'm like, these books are killing me. They're literally killing me. My blood pressure is through the roof. How many more books can I write? How can I manage these assets, this intellectual property that I have, in order to sustain me through my old age? Because I don't know how many more books I can write.
Right.
But am I with the right publisher? Am I getting the right terms?
Right. There's all these things that you start to think about.
I don't have a pension. My husband doesn't have a pension. So the same thing. We totally get where you're coming from. So much as I hate you're making this decision, I absolutely understand, and I absolutely support what you're doing.
But also let me just give you a snapshot of our friendship. So when I first mentioned it, she was like, "Oh, okay, that kind of sucks." And then when I brought it up again, that we had moved forward because we needed to have all the information.
Yeah.
And then yesterday, a realtor who is a friend and who used to live here.
Oh,
right?
he's just
he is absolutely lovely.
Guy.
But he came over to talk to us about all the things and maybe what we get for the house. So I texted Roxanne after we had talked the business stuff, and I said, "Do you want to come over?" And she's like, "Yeah, okay." And when she walked in, she said to him, "Oh, it's so nice to see you. I hate that you're here."
I did.
But you know what?
And then I said, "They have termites."
She did say that. But you know what the other part is? And this is what really shows how good our friendship is, and I might cry, is not once has she said, "What about me?" She hasn't said, "I'm going to do this." What she has said is, "I support you. I'm sad you're going, but here are the things." And when I sent her the first time the house today that I really want, which honestly, I don't know. Well, I think the universe will deliver it to me, but we'll see. But you know what? Because I was hesitant because I kind of feel like I'm betraying you.
You're
right?
not betraying
No,
me.
I know. Oh my God, she's crying, people, and I'm about to cry. But you know what? You know what she said? "I love that house for you." This is friendship, man.
That house is
right?
amazing.
But this is friendship. Like honestly, because it is the right thing for me and Paul. It might not be and how do I say this? It might not be the easiest thing for me and you.
Yeah.
It's not going to change anything. But you know what she has done this whole freaking time? She's focused on me and not her, and I really appreciate that. Right? See? Honestly, this is what true best friendship is, right?
It's true. It's true.
Oh God, she is crying. Oh my God.
Now I'm crying.
But I'm gonna
keep
build her.
talking.
I'm gonna build her a place where she can come and stay. They can come and stay, and she can come and stay for as long. Because I don't think Ray can put up with me quite as much as you can.
I'm working on a remote position for him. He's got some options where
Right.
he can run out and do some. He's got options in Yukon. I'm like,
That's cool.
When does it start? Well, every wife should have a husband who works like a week out of the month away,
right?
somewhere, maybe 2 weeks. That'd be just great.
Right,
Anyway.
right, but it is like, and the world keeps evolving and changing, and for me, and I think this is a whole thing, and there's going to be a whole love note in this. It is like, this is what love looks like.
Yeah.
This is what support looks like,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because it is about. We'll get through this. Change.
Totally.
It's change. But
Totally.
the other side is, it would be easy enough for you to have said, come on, man, here's 15 reasons to stay. Right?
How much can I pay you to stay here?
Right? But it's not going to change. The only thing is going to change is lunchtime walks.
Yeah.
And I bet
Yeah.
you we could FaceTime walk.
We can FaceTime walk. We absolutely
Right?
can.
But honestly,
Well,
it's.
yeah.
Nothing is going to change. We've
No.
actually, and this sounds incredibly insane to a lot of people, but I think we're going to have a friendship ceremony.
I think we will.
Me and Roxy are going to.
We absolutely.
I don't think getting married is the right way to say it, but
No.
we're just going to, because honestly,
It's
this
like
this podcast, the other side of it is 2025. We're going to make this podcast bigger
Oh, yeah.
and better, and we're going to build
Yeah.
the community, because right now we have some great community members. What if we could find more people? And honestly, what if we could monetize this?
Exactly.
It would just give us more excuses to be in the same place.
Well, and the thing, like we would love to do things like, and we've talked about this before. I mean, this is happy hour. We talk about wine. We always
Yep.
talk about wine. What if we could all meet in Kelowna and do a wine tour? They do fantastic
Or in
wine tours there.
California.
Greece. Italy,
Right?
Portugal,
a
right?
cruise.
A
Like,
cruise.
but what if we could do? What if we could do this? Like, you guys, what if we could do this and we could monetize it? So we could actually look at this, like we could put full-time effort into it, and it doesn't cost you anything. We're not asking you for money. We're getting sponsorships, and we're getting.
Or we could find a package, or we could find someone to sponsor, and you have
Yeah.
to pay your travel fees
Your
or
travel,
whatever.
yeah.
But you get there, and then you get us.
Yeah,
and how fun are we?
And what if we
'Cause
can build up?
We're not always crying.
No, but what if we could get our YouTube channel to have
Yeah.
10,000 people? You know what that means? It means we
Oh.
make enough that we could do this, so we could
Yeah.
have maybe better production value. Although I like this production value.
I think this is pretty fine.
But what if we could do it so it doesn't cost you anything? I mean,
Yeah.
except for
Yeah.
the travel expenses, because that's how
Yeah.
it is. But we actually got to make a living for it, and we could do more of this. We could come with bigger ideas and all these things, and we could do events
recipe
and-
books.
Oh,
and
yeah.
we could have like tour guides, and we
Yeah.
could have like, Ruth and Paul have been to this place, so now we're gonna do a tour through this
Right,
place,
right.
and there's gonna be food involved,
Yeah.
and there's gonna be, and then we're gonna sit down and we're gonna talk about how can we make the world a better place.
But that's
after
just
being
but,
here.
but that's the other thing, and I have to say, and we're going to shut up now because we're almost at 2 hours.
Good
Holy man!
Lord.
But
Oh my
but
God.
so one
This
of
is
the
gonna
other
edit it. This is
reasons
gonna
I
kill
have
me.
to. She's taken over editing. I swear to
I
God,
love
I keep
it.
volunteering.
I love it.
And she's good at it. But one of the other reasons I'm really hoping we either get a studio or something like this place I really want that we can
Oh,
make
yeah.
a thing.
Oh, yeah.
But the other thing is, I think America's going to have a really hard 4 years, right? And I want to have a place where either friends or I don't know what's going on there, but it sounds fun. But where we have either friends or friends of friends could come, because there are going to be a lot of people that are going to be persecuted in America. And I know that sounds alarmist, but I want somewhere that where people could flee and stay for a couple of
Yeah.
months,
Yeah.
because honestly, I'm really worried. I mean, seeing what's going on in the
Yeah.
world, and I'm not going to like. I have
This
stopped
is the
even
first time
talking
you've
about
talked
it.
politics in the whole podcast.
I'm not. I can't, because honestly,
Yeah.
I have to stop it because it's going to make my head explode.
Yeah.
But I want to make sure that if somebody is being persecuted, like I read the friggin' Diary of Anne Frank, which is actually the Diary of a Young Girl, is the proper title.
Yes.
But I read
Yes.
that a dozen times when I was growing up, and I
Yeah.
always wondered, what would I do?
Yeah.
And you know what? I need to do something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And I know it sounds, for those who don't follow politics, But the U.S., I mean, right now, the U.S. is falling into oligarchy. That's how you say. She's always good with how you pronounce the words. But you know what? It really is. Elon Musk has control.
Yeah.
And he's the richest man in the world. So there is nobody that can stop him right now.
Oh, how is that right? How is that possibly right?
But you know what? There is a little part of me that is like some little thing I can do, and that's like the blue sky thing. I am really freaking grateful for blue sky because I get on there and rant, and I went from like 200 followers to 1,200 because I went on a freaking rant. Right?
Did you?
Oh yeah. I mean, I was like, when you know the orange fascist asshat said he was Canada could be the 51st state. I went on a rant about it. People were like, "This is a Canadian to follow," and all of a sudden it was like, I'm still following back people, right? But the other thing is, there are good people on Blue Sky. We will post a link.
Yeah.
I'm going to write another love note about them because I'm behind now 2 days. But we're gonna do this. Blue Sky is a good place to be, people, because you know what? It gives you hope. Because you know what else? People like you are out there. Here's a good book. Here, there are so other things besides politics.
Yeah.
Right?
And there's so many people who are focused on that idea of, here's what brings me lightness and joy and hope and optimism, and here's how we can, you know, there's a shit ton of bad stuff going on, and here's how we combat that. Here's how we are looking for ways to lift each other up always, and find the best and support the best and fight the bad. But
that's just it. And at Blue Sky, the best thing is, and they keep reminding us of this, is we don't engage with trolls. We don't engage with maggots.
Yeah.
We don't. So as soon as somebody does it, so you get fooled, because I've had a lot, and
the more followers you get, the more you
get
see
people.
it.
But I've had lots where it's like, I don't know about this, and then I follow them, and then you get the hi. You're very attractive, and you just block them. But others who are
I've been trying to friend you. Would you please friend me? Because we have so much in common.
Yeah, and also, I'm a rich guy with a dog and a military outfit.
Yeah.
But on Blue Sky, the people that are bigger profile, that are more political than me, which, you know, but like that have way more influence, they're like, don't engage, just block.
Yeah.
Don't talk, block.
Yeah.
And that's, so they're not letting the trolls in, because you just block them. So and they toss up, I forget who it was, but it was one of the Congress people or senators in the US that's absolutely a Donald Trump suck up. She was on for less than 24 hours, and Blue Sky blocked her.
Really? Oh, that's amazing.
Because they were like, you're lying, that's hate speech, this is this. And so they're not letting, Blue Sky is not, everybody from Twitter is coming to Blue Sky, but it's nice.
That just makes me think of in our tiny little parallel universe of our little, you know, microcosm that we live here. We've now got a new council.
Woo!
And this council is like exactly that. You know what? Hate speech, ignorance, stupidity. Nastiness. We're not going to tolerate it. Nope. You know what? Here's the rules. You're not going to follow the rules. Why are you here then?
Here's a fine.
Here's a fine. Go live elsewhere. If you don't want to pay the fine, move.
But that's exactly it. I think it is like,
you want to live here, you want to live in this beautiful, wonderful place, then be a decent human being.
But that's just it.
And that's what Blue Sky is saying.
But that's exactly, and that's, I think we're taking back. I think the evildoers have overstepped, thinking they have more power, and now all of a sudden, and again, I want to say I do not agree with murder. I don't agree with anything. But the guy that killed the CEO, he's got the health care company, the health insurance company guy. So there's a guy that assassinated the CEO of whatever it is, health company, a health insurance company.
Okay.
Because in the U.S. they don't have universal health care, right?
Yeah.
But he's become a folk hero, and so people are writing like, okay, so this company, and I'm going to forget the name of it, so I won't say it because I don't want to make a mistake. But people are writing like, so I'm going through like, I don't know, stage 4 cancer. Mm-hmm. I show up for my cancer treatment. My health insurance company that I paid into forgot to tell me they didn't approve my next round of chemo. So I walked in, and they're like, I'm sorry. So somebody else was like, so a doctor posted, so I have a young patient, a young person. I don't think it was a baby, but a young person who's going through chemo or radiation, And I asked for them to cover the because they're nauseated, right? They can't move. And they said, it's not that bad. And they did, like, the people that are posting stuff that they've got turned down for, right? And it's like, but they've turned him, and again, murder is not, it doesn't matter, it's not good. But there is a reason for this. Although they have charged this person with terrorism. They didn't charge any January 6th people with terrorism. They haven't charged anybody. They didn't charge. Kyle Rittenhouse went to a different county when Black Lives Matter were protesting and killed at least one person and maybe two. I've had wine, so I can't remember. He got acquitted. Ooh. Right? There are all sorts of people that not only didn't end up paying for it, but weren't charged with terrorism. They've charged this kid with terrorism, and it's like, so you know who's right, right? And again, murder's not the answer. I completely get it, but also the memo that came out after that. So first of all, this CEO of this health insurance company,
hi, sweetie girl,
was in New York to have shareholder meetings. You know what happened after he got killed and they knew it? They held the shareholder meeting. And after that, a memo went out to them that was like, we will continue on our mandate to not fund unnecessary medical procedures. They put that out there, right? So come on, man. It is time for the freaking proletariat to rise up and take back some stuff, because this is so Americans spend 20% typically of their salary to get healthcare, which mostly gets turned down. If they had universal healthcare, it would cost them 3% of their salary.
Oh my God. Wow.
Right? Like, so honestly, the world is shifting, and we're going to have to ride this out. But my goal is that we hunker down and take care of the people that need it, that reach out to us.
Yeah.
Because we can't change the big stuff. Like right? But the other side of that is we have to hunker down and take care of each other. And what you hope is, if me and you take care of two people this way, they get to a position where they can take care of, or we inspire others to do it. Because honestly, the next 4 years, and I really didn't mean to go political. This is the moment to find your fucking humanity.
You know, and everybody, my family includes gay and trans people.
Yep.
Not everybody knows that. And that's the thing. Not everybody knows who they have in their family. And if you don't know, it's because they don't feel safe to tell you.
That we need to make every freaking person on earth feel safe.
To feel safe.
Except the billionaires. They need to feel scared as shit.
I want to be a billionaire and be kind.
Like Jeff Bezos, what's her name? Mackenzie Bezos?
Okay.
When they broke up?
Okay.
She's given away a huge, like she does
has.
the good things.
She has.
Right?
Yeah,
but that's exactly. True. But you know what? If you think anybody who isn't, because honestly, we're white,
middle-aged,
heterosexual,
cis women.
But like, that's just it.
We got no voice.
Like honestly, but we're also privileged.
But we are privileged, and we do have a voice.
And we do have a voice. And you know how we're going to get a bigger voice is through this freaking podcast. Yeah. I promise you, we are going to grow this, and we are going to create a movement, and it will just be a little take care of your freaking neighbor, right?
Yeah.
And we are not going to let the bad guys win. And that's exactly, and I think for me, that's what 2025 is I know I can't change everything, but it's a little bit like, but if I can change 3 or 4 minds, and I can help 3 or 4 people, and then they can help 3 or 4 people, it's like that stupid shampoo commercial, remember? You tell 10 people, and you tell 10, right?
And on and on. But it's like the tattoo in that Offred gets in The Handmaid's Tale.
Right.
It's actually not a Latin term. It doesn't make any sense. It's not a Latin term that makes sense. But the way they've used it is, don't let the bastards get you down. And that's the thing. That's the battle cry of everybody right now who is being underserved, undermined, targeted. Whatever. It's like, okay, we got a fight ahead of us. Don't let the bastards get you down, because it's the only way we're going to survive it.
But that's just it. And if you need to, and it's like what we said in our video after the election, take a break if you need to.
Yeah.
but don't go away. Come back when you're rested, because we can all carry the torch.
Yeah.
And honestly, I really didn't mean for this to go this sideways.
But you know what? Yeah, I'm going to give a tiny little shout out to my friend Nan Reinhardt, who watched our little short.
Yeah.
We're your Canadian support people.
Yeah.
What did we call it? And she's American. So many of my writer friends are American. Most of my writer friends are American, and writers are typically by nature they swing a little bit more left of central, and so
and yet they're introverted too.
And yet they're introverted, yeah. So we're all struggling. We're struggling together. We're Canadian, but we're with you.
Yeah.
We're so with you on all this stuff. We can't let the bastards get us down.
No, and we're not going to, and that's why Blue Sky's good. And I think what I'm going to do tomorrow. And you know, somebody call me on it because I've had wine. But I think I'm going to set up a happy hour at Blue Sky. Right, we need a happy hour at Blue Sky. Right?
Oh, okay.
Right, we should.
Blue Sky.
You know, I will set that up because honestly, there are good people there, and we're in this fight with you. Because honestly, we've got our own fight here. Because we've got a freaking orange fastest wannabe that's going to run for,
sure do.
Right? And so for the first time, I think I'm going to volunteer. I don't really want to knock on doors, but I will to let people understand that he is not the leader we need. Bless his little heart. I think Trudeau did a very good job. He got us through COVID. I think he's done lots of good things. He needs to step down.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
Right? I know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't have a deeper understanding of why he's staying, so I'm maybe a bit judgy, but you know what, we've got to fight in Canada too.
Yeah, we do,
and I'm all in for it. I never would have volunteered because I do. I have some. I used to say I had conservative values, but you know what? Conservative values suck ass. Like, they're always about making rich people richer, right? And anybody who thinks we shouldn't fund the arts.
Oh, you know, the first thing that goes, like when you need Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? You need food, you need shelter, you need warmth, you need clothing, all that stuff. Once you have those things, you need a reason to live, and that's what the arts give you.
Yep.
The arts give you that. The arts give you hope and courage and a reason, a thinking. I'm not articulating this well. Challenge, right?
Yeah.
Like, what does it mean to be human?
And joy.
That's what the arts do.
And what we do, freaking joy. And again, we're going to shut up in 4 minutes, but well 3 minutes and I don't know what. But what happened in COVID? Subscriptions to Netflix, subscriptions to YouTube channels, everything went up because you know what got us through it?
You know what? People bought books and they bought dogs.
Yep, and they watched independent stuff because they couldn't go right, and they did all this.
Absolutely.
The thing that got us through that is the arts.
Yeah.
So first of all, we have the fight. Let's get people fed. Let's get people housed.
For sure.
But the other side of it is, let's give them something for joy.
Yes.
Right? And we're going to do this, and now we're going to shut up now but we are going to.
And this
you
is
know what?
Joy.
She is Joy.
Joy.
She is the sweetest dog, and you know what? Honestly, she has become the fun police because she polices poor Neo. Like, she's so funny.
He's down here on the floor, like collapsed, like he's been shot out of the sky.
Yep.
But he's
a good boy.
She loves him. He adores her.
Yeah, he loves her a bit more.
Yeah. And she's like, I will tell you how the world works.
Yep.
And I will put you down.
I will tell you when you can engage with me.
I will destroy you with my pinky finger if I so choose.
Exactly. But honest to God, this dog is cute. Okay, we're going to shut up now.
You guys.
You have no wine
left. Thank you so much.
We can't cheers.
Okay, I'll cheers.
Hurry up and
pour. You need a little more.
So you need a little more? Although she has been drinking mine, I swear to God. Okay, where's yours?
My dog is French.
Okay, you know what? Happy New Year. Sorry for the freaking rant. But we're in this together. Let's grow this thing together, right? Become a founding partner, and we'll figure out how to do that. A founding member. We'll figure out how to do it. It won't cost you anything, because honestly, none of this is going to cost you money.
This to cost you guys anything. No, we want sponsors.
We're going to get the sponsors and we're never gonna tell you that something works that doesn't work.
No,
right?
What are we grateful for, Ruth? What are you grateful for?
I am so grateful for how supportive you've been about this. Even though she cries. What are you grateful for, Roxy?
I'm grateful for great realtor pictures, because that's exciting. Like, it's exciting to look for possibilities. Okay, so when I got 2 out of my 3 kids are doing this, and now you're doing this too, and I'm like, okay, so change. I friggin' hate change. I hate it. I want everything to stay the same always forever.
Okay, just for the record, she didn't like me when I moved in either.
I was cautious. I was cautious for good reason. But so I'm grateful for the change that can happen because
that is forced upon you.
That is forced upon me. Yes.
Okay, just so you know, I love her, and we love you guys.
And we love you.
Cheers.
Yes. Cheers.
Here's to a good 2025.
Here's to more happy hours and less
bullshit. Also, maybe we have to change our tagline to "and less fascism and more democracy."